Hi there, my name is Min, and I'm here with my daughter E, and we are here to go over top 10 tips for breastfeeding because I feel like as a first as a first person to get pregnant out of my friend group in my city, I felt like and with family out of town, I felt like I relied quite a lot on these YouTube videos that other moms have posted, and as a first time mom, I feel like I really felt more comfortable watching some of these tip videos instead of reading some lists online. So, oh, I know, you're so bored. As you can tell, my daughter is joining us. She may or may not continue to sit on my lap depending on how she feels. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and get started. But actually, sorry, before I get started, I should let you know that no, I'm not a doctor, but I have talked to doctors, uh, talked to lactation consultants, and from watching other YouTube videos and reading lists, and from personal experience, these tips have worked for me. If they do not work for you, I'm sorry. Um, yeah. Okay, number one, we hear often that breast is best, but this is a very personal choice. So I read this comment on someone else's video and somebody said fed is best, and I totally agree. If you feel like you have to supplement with formula because your baby is not gaining enough weight, or if you feel like formula is a way to go for you, then by golly, do it. Do not shame other women for not breastfeeding or introducing formula or for breastfeeding in public. That is not your choice, it is their choice. And if you see me looking over here, I'm looking at my list that I made on my phone because I do not get to sit at a desk and make lists anymore. I gotta do it on my phone while I'm breastfeeding her. Number two, make the most of your resources, meaning after you give birth at a hospital, whether through a C section or vaginal birth, um, use your hospital's lactation consultants. Oma. Oh, goodness. There were, at my hospital, some procedures that were put into place to promote breastfeeding, like the golden hour. If you don't know what that is, uh, let me try to explain it really quickly, but you should do some research as well. It's when they allow the mom and the baby to bond skin on skin for about an hour. I think they also call that kangaroo something. So talk to the lactation consultant on site. Make sure to get them to check your latch. Also, my OB also had their lactation consultant, and they gave me a call after I got home, like about a week later, which was really useful because I ended up developing mastitis, but I did not have to see a doctor for it. I ended up clearing it with some just rest and feeding her constantly from that breast. Oh, and also before you give birth, I'm gonna add that if you intend on pumping, ask a lactation consultant to measure your nipple for the proper nipple shield. You have no idea how many nipple shields I bought and haven't returned to Amazon because I don't think I felt weird about returning a nipple shield, but because I felt like I had to try to use it before returning it. But yeah, it was like Goldilocks. I had to find the right one, and once I did, pumping was so much easier for me. Number three, join a Relatch league uh, in your city, in your town, or join a group on Facebook. That has been so helpful for me to be able to just kind of creep on their website and see um, what experiences other people have gone through. I smell poop. Okay, so apparently she did not make a dookie. She had farted. Okay. And I just put her in her bassinet because she kept getting wiggly. Oh, number three. So I joined this Facebook group by the La Leche League in my area. And if you just creep on other people's problems before you get them, it kind of helps to anticipate some of the symptoms that they might be experiencing in your own body. That's actually how I figured out that I had mastitis or clogged duct from having read some of these problems in advance from other women. And I also remembered to check what some of their suggestions were, and that was very helpful. Before, uh, make sure to surround yourself with breastfeeding positive people. And what I mean by that is, of course, people will be very quick to tell you breast is best. However, I've noticed that from my mom, as well as some of the older people in my life, uh, they mean well, but they're actually trying to give you advice that's sort of outdated. Again, there is no ill will or any malice in the way that they tell you that, oh yeah, give the child a binky, don't try to feed them first. So they'll tell me things like that, or they'll tell me, oh, I couldn't make enough milk, therefore you probably won't either. Again, when my mom told me that, she didn't mean it in a way like, oh, I never did it, you never will either, but just rather like trying to let me down easy. However, with the support from my husband, my lactation consultant, and a course that I took on breastfeeding with my husband, I tried to persist despite my rough start and rough beginning to the breastfeeding journey with my daughter. So, again, don't suspect that they intend anything bad with their outdated advice or when they tell you that you should try formula first. It's just people have different beliefs about how to best care for their child. So try to surround yourself from for support from other women who've breastfed or a partner who is also pro breastfeeding. Number five, also, it is completely and utterly normal to want to quit breastfeeding. Without going into too much detail, I will just say that during the first 2 weeks of my daughter's life, I was very resentful of the fact that I had to breastfeed, or I was the only person out of our partnership who could breastfeed. So basically, I was just angry at biology and the fact that I had to be pregnant and I had to actually go through the labor process. And now I had this little teensy tiny human being attached to me 24/7. And I just didn't recognize myself anymore. I didn't recognize my body. Um, so I was dealing with a lot of emotions, but my husband always was very patient. It was like whenever I would cry and complain that I didn't want to breastfeed anymore, he would be like, remember, like this is something we wanted to do. I understand if you want to formula feed, but let's try to solve this problem first and then get to the formula problem. So anyway, so we're still exclusively breastfeeding and we're about to be 4 months soon. But anyways, I do not feel superior over any other women or even my own mom who had to supplement. I am actually considering supplementing when I go back to work in a month. But for now, I'm just glad that I did not give up. And please, I just need you to remember that it is very normal for you to feel like you want to give up. Also, what I will add to make you feel less like you want to give up on breastfeeding is for your partner, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is, for them to tell them ways that they can help you out. Like, if it's easier for you to sit there and breastfeed and then you're in a groove with your baby and they need to get you water, make them go fetch your water. To help out in any other way, like helping out with the house so you can focus on feeding your baby, because I also made this amateur mistake where I wanted to get all of the housework done at the rate that I used to get them done, even with a newborn baby, and that was an absolute mistake. Like, that was dumb. Number 6, this is gonna be hard. Always relatch if the latch is incorrect. Okay, can I do this? Okay, yeah. Always relatch if the latch is incorrect. It's better to redo than to do permanent damage onto your nipple. And while it has not happened to me, I know that it is a very real possibilities for some folks. Oh, I think she's getting hungry. I better hurry. Number 7, drink lots of water and eat snacks, and do not go on a really extreme diet or your supply will dry up. I know that the pressure to snap back is real, and you will not recognize your body after you give birth, and it will be depressing. You will be upset. But you have to remember that your body took 10 months to get this big and pregnant and to be um, this life force for your baby. And it will take just as long, if not a year, for you to get back to your old shape or for you to feel like yourself again. So yeah, do not go on an extreme diet. 8, buy a couple of nursing bras and tops and some lanolin cream to make your life easier. Also, be prepared to ruin a couple of shirts and tank tops too because of the really greasy lanolin cream. I say to get about like 2 or 3 nursing tops after the baby is here, because I bought a couple of nursing bras before E was here and they didn't fit me. I was too big for them. And so just wait until the baby's here and then buy those nursing items. And then also, I straight up stopped wearing a t-shirt after a certain point. I would just wear a bra and some bottoms and call it a day because it was just, why put the shirt on when you're about to take it off again to feed her, you know? We're almost there. Number 9, it is very normal to be anxious about breastfeeding, especially because you feel like you're not feeding your baby enough, and you just don't see like the visible like increments or the amounts that you're breastfeeding your child. So you like that? So go by the number of wet diapers and dirty diapers your child makes. Do not be worried about low supply unless your doctor tells you to. Like the baby's weight has not gone back up after being born. Hey. So please know that, again, anxiety is real and it is quite normal, unfortunately. And having... Ooh. I felt very guilty about this. But number 10, learn to eat, watch TV, browse online while you're breastfeeding. Yeah, she's got to eat. We got to go. Because I felt so guilty, like, to browse on Instagram or Facebook or whatever I wanted to read while breastfeeding her, because I thought I had to pay attention to her like 100%, but turns out that's not true. That's okay. Also try to balance that out by leaving the phone out of your grasp once in a while and just really bond with your baby and like gaze into her eyes and look at their sweet little chubby faces when you're breastfeeding them, because believe it or not, they will grow out of this phase. But yes, they will grow out of this phase where they won't be breastfeeding anymore, where they won't need you like this 24/7. So I try to remind myself of that when days get hard. Okay, now we gotta go eat. I gotta feed her. But I hope that despite all of the interruptions, my tips have helped you. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I hope to make a second part to this video just specifically about nursing in public, because that's been one of my greatest sources of anxiety recently, but I'm trying to work on it myself. So thank you for watching. Best of luck and hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye. I'm gonna go eat now. Say bye. Bye.